Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Reality Right After. This is episode 4. My name is Wellington Gomez. I am the chief editor of the Reality Rundown. And today you are joining me next to my superstar co host. Hi, Ricky.
Hi, what's the tea? It's your girl Ricky. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ricky B. You know the vibes.
Hi, Kay.
Hi everyone. Of course, you can follow me at underscore K King. Come check me out.
Hi, Katie Ann. How are you?
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We got some good stuff for you guys today. And follow me on all social media platforms, Kaden underscore.
And today we have a special guest co host. Hi, Thomas.
Hey guys, what's going on? How you doing? Thomas J here.
So let's get into it. Let's get into the show. So today we have a special show. Instead of doing our usual segments that we usually do, we're gonna do an entire episode of Hot Topics and what's on the headlines today. So we're gonna run down the tea and we're gonna get right into it. So first of all, I don't know if you guys know, but the nominations for the NAACP Image Awards came out, and some of our favorite girls were nominated. And those was Giselle Bryant and Robin Dixon from the Real Housewives of Potomac. They were nominated for Outstanding Podcast. Also, our girl Garcelle got nominated for Outstanding Host and Outstanding Talk Series. These are huge nominations. The NAACP Image Awards are huge, and we want to put more emphasis on Black awards because we're always we're always so defeated when we don't get nominations at the Grammys, when we don't get nominations at Golden Globes, the big white mainstream awards. But when it comes to these, like, these are the ones that we actually have to care about. So I'm actually happy to see some of our favorite housewives nominated. What do you guys think, Ricky?
They black? No, I didn't know.
I can't with you. I
Kudos
can't
to
with you.
Robin and kudos to Giselle and kudos to Garcelle. I think it's about time Garcelle got recognized. She's been a part of our lives since the Jamie Foxx show and just has been with me since I was a kid. So it's nice to see her get acknowledged for her work on The View and um, within the
On
Real
the
House.
real,
Ooh, the
not the
real.
future.
I don't know. That was a what is it called? A Freudian slip. But on the real, keeping it real on the real. Giselle and Robin, I have not listened to the podcast, but I think maybe they had a friend down to the committee. Who knows? But I'm definitely proud of them for their nomination, and it's a great look for Black women in reality TV.
Right, right. Okay.
Listen, I love Garcelle. I'm here for Garcelle. I definitely think it's time that she gets her flowers while she's here. So I congratulations to her. I think she's been doing a phenomenal job on the real. I think that she was a great addition, and so I'm happy to see that she got those nominations. Reasonably shady, listen, I think it's all about the platform. I know, like, they're on Charlemagne's platform, and that could definitely be a reason why they were able to capture that nomination. Listen, I may not like them on the show, but kudos to them and everything that they're doing in their endeavors, because listen, women got to support women. So
Right, right. What about you, Katie?
I just find the irony of the podcast being called Reasonably Shady and me throwing her shade. But, congratulations to all three of them, regardless of who they are on the reality TV shows. They're making history to some capacity. And I hope they actually do win. They put in their work, especially Garcelle. Garcelle's graced our television for so long, so it's well deserved.
I agree.
Well, congratulations to those ladies. We will definitely be looking out for who the winners are. Speaking of winners, the Real Housewives of New Jersey girls then dropped their hashtag, bruh, and we want to see what it's about. Wellington, can you show us what it's about? We want to see, honey.
Some people are born great, and some are born Jersey. I don't start the drama. Hi.
but I will stop the show. I say, when you have nothing to hide, there's nothing to lose.
You don't have to pay me a compliment, but you do have to pay me respect.
My nose may be new,
Cheers!
but I could still smell a rat.
I have a new king.
Good job.
Finally! But I'm still the queen of New Jersey.
Wow, the taglines.
Everybody ate but Teresa and Jackie.
Wait, hold on.
Those was my favorites.
Right.
Everybody, I have a new king, but I'm still the queen of New Jersey. That was a snooze fest, bruh.
I actually thought it was good,
I
because
actually thought it was.
I may
cute.
have,
yeah.
may have a new nose, but I can still smell a rat. Or the girls just it wasn't like you know what I mean? It was like, okay.
So the one that I didn't understand was Melissa's. Some people are born great and some are born Jersey. To me, I'm like, what does that mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how does that tie into your story? Like, what is going on? She did ended up going on social media and saying that she actually hated the tagline that they picked and that she didn't actually pick that tagline. So there goes to show. But
mean that there are great people and then there are people who are from Jersey, which is like a higher separation.
That's what I thought too.
That's
Did you lie?
she didn't lie. I mean,
don't come for the Jersey girls.
The Jersey girls.
Do not come for the Jersey girls.
She lied, but it's funny enough because I thought Melissa's was one of the better ones and she didn't like it or she didn't pick it at that.
Right.
And I was like, wait, but yours was actually good compared to the rest of everybody else's. The rat one, I didn't like that one at all. I thought it was corny, but I thought they did. I'll rate them an 8.
It was cute. But don't shade Jersey girl. The heavy hitters come from Jersey.
Yeah, I didn't think those were the best taglines like ever, but I definitely think it was enough to get us excited about the new season. Like, the taglines came out and we're like, yes, we one step closer, to the season premiere. So it did what it was supposed to do.
And you know what? Why I said she lied? Because Melissa is not the person to have said that line. It could have been anybody else and it would have made better sense. And that's why I'm disagreeing with what she said. Not because I'm shading the Jersey girls.
Because she's from Jersey, I'm going to shoot her some bell. Jersey girls are better.
Well, what's the next story, Kay?
Yes.
It's me. I'm here to talk about like the Russian mob. No, I'm playing. Not the Russian mob. But listen, word on the street is that, PK finally paid off his $2 million debt that he owed to the casino Bellagio after 10 years. And listen, I'm not going to say anything about anybody paying debt after 10 years. Because listen, I still owe Navient or whoever they pretending to be today.
Sure.
So listen, if it takes you 10 years to pay your debt off, honey, pay it off. It's suspicious how you were able to pay it off. Wink, wink. However, it has been settled according to court documents. He was able to deliver the $2.7 million to satisfy the debt. The 2019 judgment, like I said, according to court documents, has now been settled. I believe he owed $3.6 million. So I'm gonna let y'all do the math. I'm gonna let y'all put y'all, tea in the cup on that one because I have some speculations on how he was able to get that money so fast. But hey, what do I know? I mean, it could have came from those marriage gowns.
In the words of the infamous Miss Cameron Huger, the Grand Dame, you got to make millions to owe millions, and that's all I'm gonna say on that.
I think that it's interesting, right? And I also think that it's interesting that through all of these problems that PK is having in the last couple of months, like somehow he was able to pay this $3.6 million debt that has taken him 10 years to pay off. You got broken into your house, you got arrested for a DUI, and somehow this debt that has taken you 10 years, you like figured out how to pay it off like right away. And I would believe it if it was anybody else, but because it's PK, I don't know if it's honest. Like, if I'm being completely honest, like, I don't know. What
You
do you
know,
guys think?
PK is the original Material Girl, so
I just don't understand one. How do you owe a casino $2 million? Like, were you having a gambling addiction? Like, how did that even start? First of all, you are a husband, a father. There's so many other things to focus and put money towards. Maybe your kids' college tuition or their trust fund, something. But everybody struggles with their own situation and thing, and I just don't feel like gambling would have been my first choice. I just don't understand how that even came about. Like, how did he end up owing so much money to a casino of all places? I could understand, like, if he was in credit card debt or something like that, but this, it's like, what was he really doing there, and how often was he going to Vegas to rack up a $2 million bill? And like Wellington said, was it the insurance money from this robbery? Like, what is it? Is Dorit over there giving him some of her funds from her clothing line? I just don't understand.
Doubtful.
BK's been getting in a lot of mess, and I just hope, now that he cleared this massive debt, he makes a U-turn and go on the straight and narrow.
I absolutely agree. I think that we finally have Thomas back. Let's see. Hey,
Hey,
Thomas.
hey guys.
Hey,
Okay, good. We
Yeah,
have you
welcome back.
back.
So are we
So
on you? Go
we're
ahead.
talking about PK finally paying his $2 million debt to the Las Vegas casino. So you have any comments on this?
Yeah, I think that PK doesn't want the karma to come back around for him. We all seen how he behaved last season as he was talking about um, Tom and all of the things that he had going on and Erica's legal dramas. And so to prevent from the reef from going on and what has been a really eventful season for her, if we've been following kind of like what's been going on in her storyline as far as what's happening in the press, this is one thing he wanted to take off of her load. So, I mean, I commend him for it because he was carrying on last season, and I would have had everybody else carrying on the same way this season because he was acting out. So, I mean, kudos to him to have the $2 million to pay it off because, child, that's a coin.
Right, right. I completely agree. It's just crazy, child. Katie, and you got the next story. What's up? What's up? Give it to us.
yes, let's talk about Miss Shakari Richardson. There's been rumors going around all over social media in regards of the celebrity Big Brother cast, and she will not be joining, contrary to what you guys have been hearing. And along the lines, there's also been mention of Nene Leakes and Erica Jane also joining the show, but rumors have it that's also not true. So, what are you guys' take on that?
I was like dying when I heard that Nene Leakes was going to be on this show because I'm like, girl, Nene Leakes and New York, like Tiffany Pollard, like it's giving. We want to see it, like we need it now. So now I'm hearing that she's not coming back. These other reports that we have. I'm kind of tired of the headlines. I just want like Celebrity Big Brother to finally put something on. Like, what do you guys think?
I agree. I think Tiffany was an absolute star on Celebrity Big Brother UK and some hilarious moments. Tiffany's one of my favorites. Ideally, I would love to get Jocelyn, Nene, and Tiffany in the same room for a Kiki. That's like my ultimate fantasy, is to get some of the head honcho girls in Black reality TV and get them down to the cameras and see what goes on. See who's the real head honcho, who's the real funny girl. That's what I really wanted to see. And so I got real excited when I saw Tiffany and Nene going to Big Brother. I said, "Oh, them living together, child. I'm going to be keying." But who knows? I really don't. Shakari, I don't know if I'm ready to see her in reality television. She's a little young, and I think I don't want this to impede on her athletic career. But being that she did have a lot of controversy, I think it would be beneficial to peek into her life as long as it don't end up like Portia, child. But that's that.
Yeah, I don't think I would have wanted to see Shakari on Celebrity Big Brother because I don't feel like she's that far along in her career for an opportunity like that. Like I feel like, you know, she has some more work to put in. And I definitely, like you said, Ricky, don't want to see anything distract from, you know what I mean, what you know, her track goals and things of that nature, because there's already been a lot of chatter around there. So I would definitely love to see her focus on that, and then look for different opportunities down the road. As far as Nene not being on Celebrity Big Brother, that's kind of sad. Of course, we all want Nene back on our screens, but listen, you know, she's out here living her best life. Hopefully, you know, maybe we can get a show on Peacock. I don't know. Peacock, call Nene Leakes and get with the girl, okay? But yeah, I'm actually excited to see it, and I hope Tiffany, you know, does what we know that she is good at, bringing the drama, telling it like it is.
I feel like I'm indifferent. I was kind of intrigued by the idea of seeing Sha'Carri Richardson. I mean, to a lot of y'all's point, she has had a lot going on in the headlines in relation to her career. I think she has been tantalizing at times. She's been terrorizing at times, and I think that makes for a good reality TV star, if you ask me. So I think, especially coming from the younger generation, Generation Z is just now getting more of a voice in a lot of different areas of our entertainment and our politics and our culture. So to be able to see somebody like that after the public fallout, after the triumph and then the fallout, I think would have been interesting to see. But her in the house with those names we mentioned, I don't know if that would have been a good mix, because when you talk about the Tiffany Powers and the elites of the world, these are our reality TV heavyweights. And so if that, I mean, it's not true apparently, but if that was to be the case, because Tiffany Pollard was supposed to join Big Brother the season that Omarosa joined, and then when Omarosa joined, they worked it out for Tiffany not to be a part. So for her to actually be a part, she was going to be in this cast. I'm all the way here for it, because her on Celebrity Big Brother in the UK was a mess. She's a natural actress, so I think she'll be able to bring some more pizzazz to it, because especially coming off of the real season where we had the first Black winner after having a Black takeover of the show, and we were able to really put into a position with like real celebrities and the reality TV shakeup that will kind of give us entertainment, that will give us that drama that doesn't borderline on bizarre, because Big Brother be kind of bizarre. But I feel like that melting pot could be really dope. Hearing Erica James' name in the mix too, I'm like, how she got time for that? She's going to be in jail sharing a cell with Jim. I was confused as to how she got in the mix, but hey.
Celebrity cellmate.
It's about to be her last hurrah.
I actually didn't like Sha'Carri being attached to the cast, only because I feel like after going through everything with the Olympics and the trials and all of those things, I think she needs to take a break from being, air quotes, attacked or being targeted, for the sake of her mental health and so many other things. I feel like there's better opportunities that she could go towards, that people won't be throwing daggers at her. And then she also, she defends herself to the max too. And I sometimes feel like Black women shouldn't always be placed in the position to be on defense mode. So I wasn't too fond of her joining the show. And then I also didn't know how she would be amongst those other strong personalities as well. Is either they were going to eat her alive and she was going to sit in the corner and cry, or they were going to be like motherly towards her and kind of guide her. But then that's not why they're on the show, right? So I wasn't really too much here for it, just for her, just because I feel like there's better opportunities that she could chase or attach her name to, where it won't be so much of her having to be on defense or having to fight people on the internet weekly about whether her comments or their comments. I don't know, find some other lane to focus on your track career. I mean, you're still doing that, so maybe something else, but this wasn't it for me with that. But I was excited for the other girls, because Nene, Tiffany, come on,
Right.
those are our gods on reality TV, and we love seeing them regardless of what network they're on, what show they're on. They bring it, and they know how to be themselves to the max and always give us great entertainment, great one-liners, and good up quotes. So yeah, I was totally here for
Right.
that. So it's unfortunate that they won't be on the show.
I know it's so unfortunate. Even more unfortunate is the fact that Mary Cosby did not attend the season 2 Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion. Like, so she finally speaking out as to why it is that she did not attend the reunion. As many of you know, Mary did not attend, and during a conversation on Twitter Spaces last Tuesday, Cosby opened up about her decision to skip the reunion and said that the reason why was that the only thing I have to say about the reunion is I didn't go because it was one-sided. She shared. Everyone heard one side of what they felt. I mean, they told lies, one side of my story. And I was not going to get on that reunion for a 4-part reunion and talk about this guy who has passed away. So clearly, she's talking about Cameron. She feels that the ladies have lied on her and that she just wasn't going to give them their time. What do you guys think, Ricky?
So it's been clear since season 1, episode 1, that Mary was the star. She wasn't even a full, cast member at the time, but then they really audiences and she really became a fan favorite and everybody rallied behind Mary. And since then, those girls have been sidelining trying to take Mary down. And I think what happens on these predominantly white shows is that a lot of the times the minority girls are pitted against each other. Who's going to be that girl that's accepted? And I think Mary was such a breath of fresh air because she genuinely didn't give a fuck. Like, Mary was just Mary. She was down to the church. She was down to her outfits, and she just didn't care. And so she's said some outlandish things and done some outlandish things. But I think this season they really tried to lean in on her and create the narrative, one, that she was a cult leader, and 2, that she was a bigot and supported Asian hate. And so I think that she made a proper decision in skipping the reunion and taking her power back, as did Monique when she left the show on her terms. I don't even think they're going to have a reunion without Mary. How are they going to have a reunion without Mary? So I think she was able to take her power back in that aspect, and I really appreciated that. And then for her to get on Spaces and talk, and then for everything else that I'm sure we'll get into next to fall out after she made her exit was just icing on the cake. She said she's going to send Jesus after them people, and he came, child.
And he came, child. What do you guys think?
Listen, did she say 4-part reunion? No, man.
Right. Like, I don't want to
now
see
without
her.
Mary. Now, if Mary was there, yes, maybe a 4-part reunion, but even still, I think that would have ran it into the ground. Absolutely not without Mary, though. Like, there's really no need for those girls to have a 4-part reunion without Mary, because she was most of their storyline. So it's like, if she's not there, what are y'all going to talk about for 4 episodes? No, sir. No, we can't do that. As far as Mary skipping the reunion, listen, I love a woman that can make a decision and not have to worry about, relying on these men that run these programs, right? Like, Mary said, nope, you're not going to tell me what to do. I have the power and I'm taking my power back. And I love that for her. Listen, I'm not going to sit up here and spend 12 hours talking about things that you guys know nothing about. You guys have called around to everybody in Salt Lake City. Y'all done got all these stories. Y'all done putting them together, trying to make it seem like y'all know what y'all talking about, and you don't. And I don't need to explain myself to you. So therefore, I don't need to show up to this reunion because I'm not going to explain myself. And so I think she made the best decision for her. I respect it. I love Mary. Like I said, I can love somebody and still call them out on, some of the stuff that they said that isn't appropriate. However, she did send the Holy Spirit in her place. This is why they did not know that Mary was there, because we know that the Holy Spirit is invisible. So listen, them girls did not know what was coming. And let me just tell you, Mary woke up that morning and she said, Jesus, he didn't even let her finish her prayer. He said, it is finished. Katie.
Done.
I honestly always say, like, if you think you're not in control, look at the situation, because you are in control. And she said that to herself, removed herself from negativity. And I was a part of that Twitter space, where she talked for a while and she shared so much and she was so open and honest. And I feel like when you're uncomfortable, you don't have to stay. No one can force you to be and do anything you don't want to. regardless of a contract or not, those things can always be overturned. And I just think for her on the show, she was very much so uncomfortable, and she was consistently put in a situation where she had to defend herself. Like I mentioned before, like Black women get on these TV shows and then they have to be on defense mode. And it's unfortunate that, you know, Jen and Mary weren't allies on this show, but we see eventually that everything that Mary stated about majority of the cast here was true. And as we got yesterday, I should say, when we saw half the things online, it's just crazy that a lot of these women have things attached to them that they could focus on or fix, and they rather pinpoint and blame somebody else to break them down, to remove them from a show. And then I also think it stems from hate and jealousy, because we do like her. You know, she's not perfect by no means, but she's likable, and I think that's what they don't like, and they try to force us not to like her. And I love that Mary took control of the situation.
Right. What about you, Thomas? Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think that Mary and Crosby is going to take RHO SLC down with her if they don't allow her to return next season. I feel like they're force feeding this franchise down our throats about a 4-part reunion in the second season. Let's be clear about the 4-part reunion and its relationship to Real Housewives. It was conceived because of a very iconic thing that happened on RHOA. So I understand that these turn of events that they are concocting on RHO SLC are trying to be comparable in some fashion, but it's paling in comparison. So I think we should meet RHO SLC where they are, which is a cute another 2-part reunion for the second season.
Right.
Especially when to a lot of you all's point earlier that Mary, who is the majority of their storyline, is not going to be there. I think that Mary has been attacked from the beginning. I think that once we realized that she was a fan favorite, even Andy was fawning over her when she was in Watch What Happens Live. He was like, I'm so excited to have her in the studio for the first time.
Yeah.
So think about her as an emerging figure in the Housewives culture. I think those other girls were shook that they couldn't, capture the storyline, that Jen couldn't scam her way to the top, that Meredith couldn't style her way to the top, that, Whitney couldn't fake boob and her relationship with her husband to the top. It was just, and I don't even know what Jeannie's doing there. I mean, I just don't know what she's doing there. But I'm going to miss Mary if she doesn't come back with those tacky wigs and those tacky outfits and everything that she brings. Because it's just, you can't believe she's a real person sometimes. And I think that that's the beauty of her being on the show. So I don't think it's going to be bravo. Don't support Mary on this.
And I sorry, Wellington. I just want to say real quick, can we cut the reunions to maybe like 2 cap? And if it's something major happens where it's like breaking news, CNN, Bravo, shocks the world, we get 3 parts, because I feel like they're gonna not get us excited anymore for a reunion, because I do not want to. I don't want to see them in the closet getting dressed. I don't care to hear them walk off stage and go in the back and have one little line where they tease us for. I don't care to hear it. I felt like Beverly Hills could have been a quick 3 parts. Half these women are still in these court cases and they can't speak on everything. And what's the sense of asking Jen or Erica the same thing? Oh, what can you tell us? What can you do?
Right.
We don't care. We really don't care, especially when we're going to know about the end result before it's even aired, because, as news happens live, we'll know about it first and discuss about it on social media. I want us to still have that excitement for reunions, to see the women sit down, to wrap up the season. I feel like when they elongate it and drag it out, it's just not exciting anymore. I was not excited for Beverly Hills reunion, because once I heard 4 parts, I was like, yeah, I'm only going to watch the second one and maybe the third.
Right. So my whole thing is that, remember when Jersey had that 2-part reunion last season and it was lit from beginning to end, part 1, part 2, quick. It was juicy. Every moment was like, damn, this was a good reunion. Like 10 minutes in, we was getting jaw-dropping moments. Jennifer gathering the entire left side of the reunion by herself. that's a reunion I like. Do not stretch your content if you don't have your content. Like, don't do it. I don't care. Like, I don't know if it's like the wives, because they get paid per episode, and I'm wondering if the production team is also getting paid per episode too, because there's no reason why Salt Lake City had those 5 first episodes this season. It did not gave. I did not start watching Salt Lake City with like actual anticipation until Jen Shaw got arrested. Everything prior to that, like I could have, we could have lived without it. But let's get to the big news of the week. The breaking news that Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Jenny was caught on social media. I just can't even. Jenny, I wouldn't even give her the screen by herself, so I put her next to Mary because I won't even give her the screen. Fans are calling for Jenny to be fired from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City after several racist social media posts have appeared to promote White Lives Matter from 2020 resurfaced this week. Over 6 months span in 2020, amid the ongoing Black Lives Matter protests, Jenny allegedly posted and reposted memes and photos, including ones which mentioned phrases like, and I quote, Black Lives Matter thugs and violent gangs. Some of the posts that she's made we're showing on screen right now. Um, trigger warning if you're Black, this is truly just violence and disrespectful ignorance. Later on, she did submitted an apology. She said, I want to acknowledge and apologize for my deleted Facebook post from 2020 that resurfaced today. At the time, I thought I was speaking out against violence, but I have since learned how offensive and hurtful my words were. It's why I deactivated the account more than a year ago and why I continue to try to learn about my perspectives different from my own. I regret the post and I'm sincerely sorry for the pain I've caused. Guys, Ricky, I think like you need to speak on this. Go ahead.
Do. In the words of my famous sister Shanae, you're done. She's packed. I don't want to hear it because she has such vitriol. I think what the girls do, like, okay, Jen tried to eat Mary. She couldn't eat Mary. All the girls try to eat Mary. They can't eat Mary. So then, Jenny came in, got a battery in her back, and then the vitriol she had for Mary, throwing stuff at her, screaming at her. I'm like, why is the girl giving so much anger?
Right.
That's not even Mary's, like, disposition. You know what I mean? And then for her to be like, she's stop Asian hate, she's a bigot, she's racist, when full blown down to the kitchen table, you're racist, right? And for these tweets and these posts to resurface, I just feel like Bravo's response was a little lax in how they would respond to that of other cast members.
There wasn't even a response, if you're being honest.
There wasn't a response. Like they ate Kenya up when she had on the Native American costume.
Let's talk about it.
So I think, it should be the same response for the Ramonas and the Jennys of the world. Jenny's out here talking about welfare and Black people and thugs and this, and that. She hasn't even been on the franchise long enough to even consider having her back, girl. You are a freshman and you get moved to another school. She should not return. They shouldn't let her return. She brought nothing to the show but a Black scent like Aquafina. And I'm done with it. Bye, wig.
What do you guys think? Any other thoughts?
I mean, I agree with Ricky B. Here's my thing. Like any other person, outside of Ramona, that may have come on and said these type of things, we might would have been able to say, all right, let's see, how much they've grown, how much they've learned from these previous posts, right? Like, but it's the fact that she went so hard for Mary and the things that Mary said, knowing full on well 2 days ago that she was out there. I mean, that's a little stretch, but still 2 days ago that she was out in the backyard posting these things. Yeah, you have to be fired now, because it's like we can't even get past these things and the hate that you had and all the things that you should know better, da 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 at your age. Man, you should know better at your age as well. Okay.
Right.
So for
Right.
that reason, she can go. I never liked Jenny from the beginning, honestly. Like, I didn't really think that she brought anything to the show. I don't care about your husband wanting a sister wife. Take that to TLC, because
Sure.
Bravo ain't here.
Take that to TLC for real. Katie, any thoughts?
I don't want to stand on my hill because I could go all night about this stuff, but my
No,
biggest
don't go all night.
thing
Sure.
my biggest thing is, we're in 2020 January. These posters are from we're in 2022. My apologies. And these posters are from 2020. And this show was definitely being filmed shortly after those posters were put out. And there's a lot of people who have been on the opposite side of Black Lives Matter. And after they saw what happened to George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, it shook them. They're like, oh my God. Like, before, it might have not been like, march on or whatever the case might have been, but that definitely woke a lot of people up. And even some of the things that she was posting, it's counterproductive, because even this photograph with MLK, they beat them after this. So what was the point of this? You're insinuating that they changed the world by marching, but you're also ignoring the fact that the reason why they're marching is because people before them and even after them are still being beaten and brutalized. So what is your point? For her to put out this apology, it's just like, you knew these posters exist. You didn't even delete them. You just deactivated the account. So you still somewhat left the account to be found, or these things to be found. And you targeted a Black woman on the show. So it doesn't really help your narrative that you're trying to push with this apology. And on top of that, you are so quick to say, stop Asian hate. And here's my thing. You cannot be a person of color and say, oh, don't attack my community, and then you attack another person of color's community. You look stupid. You look stupid. Not only are you racist, you look like you have an IQ of 0. It doesn't make sense. And I think with her even having any type of possibility of coming back to television is sick, because we're trying to change the world. We're trying to move forward. Everyone, in this generation anyways, is trying to avoid anybody else being brutalized by police or Black people facing any more issues and struggles in society. And even half the quotes that she put out, like, you're talking about poverty. Do you even know who's the highest on the totem pole of poverty? I think you need to look into that, because who you think you're targeting is not necessarily who you think you're targeting. And it's really annoying. I almost wish we never even met the woman, honestly. Like, how can we delete her completely? Just
She said control, alt, delete, honey.
We could even completely delete the second season of Salt Lake City. I don't even care to see anything else of Jen or whatever the case might be, just because this woman is sick. She is sick. Like, how do you sit there and agree with this as an adult? And you have young children. You have young children. And then you want to talk about, what you might have faced in Long Beach, California. Let's go back to the history of Blacks versus Asians during those times when you were growing up. Cut it out. No one feels sorry.
Before Thomas gets in, I did wanted to mention how it's like I really hate even seeing having to see episodes. We still have, I think, probably like 5 episodes left in the season, or like 4 episodes left in the season. And something that I saw on Twitter that was very interesting is said that these were not comments that she made one day and like she can take back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this wasn't something that she came across somebody that pissed her off, and because of that she made like a very like anger-based comment. These comments are like rooted in darkness. They're rooted in violence. They're rooted in like legit racism and time. She definitely, these are her feelings for a very long time. This is not something that she just came about. Like, these comments are not just, they don't go away just because you put out an apology. They don't go away just because you say that, oh, I'm so sorry for the pain that I caused. Like, first of all, you know what you were doing when you put it out. you feel like you were part of a safe space, which is why you posted it, because your friends didn't say anything, no one around you said anything, because you're from Utah and that's just the norm over there. So to you, you were in your little bubble, you were in your in your safe space, and it goes to show the problem that we have in America. People everywhere post comments like this, and because they feel very safe in their rural, very racist, like, white majority towns. So here my problem comes in the sense that we were casting in 2020 for the second season, and how come a production company miss tweets from the same year? It doesn't make sense.
It's tough.
Like, if this were tweets from 10 years ago, I can understand how an intern did not do the research, But if a tweets from the same year that casting is being done for the second season, and like Facebook posts, I mean, like there's no excuse to that. Thomas, I don't know if you want to comment on this.
Yo, it's so crazy. You put the words out of my mouth in your last piece, because I was getting ready to say we need to talk to who's doing the booking and for the talent over there, for that particular production company, because for her, I think that she tried to make it a point to say in my now deleted Facebook post, as if you deleting it would have been better than you not posting it at all.
Right,
Deleting it, because clearly it's not deleted, because we all know you put something out into the cyberspace, it lives forever. So we have the screenshots. Clearly, we just threw them up there, and multiple people have them. But even bigger than that, I think it's interesting how people can clearly detect racism when it's against anybody else other than Black people. And for the rest of the cast to be on Jeannie's side when it came to the whole situation with Mary, I would love to see if any of them would take to social media to call Jeannie out about this particular situation. And then we can speak about growth, and we can speak about how cancel culture is not really alive and well. But I think people who don't want to be held accountable for their actions are always speaking about how cancel culture is toxic. If you truly are a changed person and you truly have learned from your mistakes, then you should have no problem demonstrating said growth to those who challenge. That should be something that you should have no issue doing. And I think we've gotten into a space where we've allowed our housewives to be infallible. And I think we're going to approach a time where we need to take more accountability. We got Kelly Dodd out of there. And we do need to hold the Ramona Singers of the world accountable for them to cancel the whole reunion, for her. We're putting certain housewives on a pedestal to where they can do no wrong, but we're condemning others, i.e. Nene Leakes, for closing her laptop and not wanting to continue the reunion. But you're going to do other girls and cancel the whole production because she was acting the fool in New York. You're going to let these other girls still come on, even though, like, why is Jen Shaw not scamming people, not still the biggest story? But we're talking about Mary talking about Jeannie now. You see how they do the twist? Yeah,
right.
It's a mess.
Right. And real quick, I think you made a valid point. If you're a changed person, if you see half of what's going on in society and you posted these things that you aligned yourself with, right? Racism and all of these other things, it wouldn't take when all of these things that are dug up go viral for you to say sorry. I would have been, if I was in her shoes, although I would never be, I would have been deleted them and be like, oh, if I might have been on something, but I'm woke or whatever the case might be, I'm a change. This would have happened a long time ago. It would have probably been the first thing as soon as I introduced myself to the world. Hey, I'm so-and-so, and I apologize for the dumb things I've done in my past.
Shaw, you would have never caught me. Like, what? Like,
because it's not embedded in you. It's not embedded in you to hate other people just for
safe.
The T is the same production people who are selecting the Jennies are selecting the Ramonas, and so the reason why there's no great pushback is because sentiments are shared, right? And so I think on one end, people, when you work in production, it's like, this is the hot topic, this is the controversy, racial discourse, racial divide, and so we saw, because it's no way. These shows, working in TV, they will look, jobs, everybody will look through your social media, right? Because they don't want to deal with the backlash unless, and certain companies like the Chick-fil-A, they don't care. Yeah, I said it. It said either you're going to get a chicken sandwich or you ain't going to get a chicken sandwich. But I said what I said and I ain't changing on it. And that's how they've been operating. But I think what's even more frustrating is I feel like the tone that we don't talk about is Black women built the Bravo fandom, right? Or cultivated, or the Black girls cultivated this huge culture that is Bravo, and we're still fighting for their lives in salary, still fighting for their lives in fair treatment, still fighting for their lives in spinoffs and specials and all the things that they deserve. And so I think it's just incredibly frustrating that we don't get to see a Mary turn into the star we know she can be, to do a 10-year run and to become one of those girls. We don't see a predecessor for Nene, and we don't have Nene. We don't have any of those things because they're not taking the time to really rally around our favorite. And so we lose the Monique before her time, and we lose the Mary before her time, and we lose all these people. And it's just unfortunate to me that they still don't have enough care to water girls that put in overtime for the network.
So my question for you guys is, do you think there's still like hope or any possibility for Mary to come back to the show after the things that have happened, the things that have occurred?
I hope she comes back. I hope she comes back. I'm not gonna say it would be a disservice to herself, but maybe to us as fans who are looking forward for more from her, and maybe some answered things that people put out about her. You know, there's multitudes of stories that are consistently out about her character, and I mean, I think those are things I would like to see her come back and finish out, even if she's going to leave. But I wouldn't want her to come back just because of us, but for herself and also her mental health and her career and all these other things with her family. But I hope she does come back.
Right. I don't know if she has. I don't know if she has a future. Go ahead, Kate.
I mean, I would like to see Mary come back. Like, I was actually surprised to see and hear, you know, how much Andy actually really does like her. And so I think he would definitely be open to, you know, having further conversation with her and possibly bringing her back. I think also with the things that have unfolded with Jenny, and clearly probably how, you know what I mean, we don't know what happened on the reunion, but we can bet our bottom dollar, our last dollar, that they were really, you know, going after Mary because she wasn't there to defend herself. So I think that he may see that as an opportunity to say, hey, you know what I mean, you can come back for third season. Let's, you know what I mean, see how things play out. But again, it's Mary's choice. I love it. I love the fact that she has a choice. You know, to come back on that. And again, like I said, I mean, we love her, but it's totally up to her on whether or not she wants to come back.
Well, I don't know if anybody else has any more thoughts, but you
I just want to say real quick. I think more importantly, those who should not come back on that show, as a lot of them, we need to clean house when it comes to those girls, because a lot of girls skating by, and I hate that Bravo and the production companies allow this, so the girls can just fly under the radar while most of the other girls are pulling the wagon for everybody in a particular season. So we can't. I mean, as much as Meredith tried to have Mary back, she can go. We can get rid of Whitney, even I thought she was going to be a star. She's annoying. We can get rid of Heather. She's not giving what she's supposed to have given as a center snowflake. We can get rid of these girls. Jen, we want her in jail. Let's start out with a fresh slate and stop putting these black girls on these shows, but she's the only one. You know what I'm saying? Give her 2 black girls at least so somebody can have their back. You know? Please.
Right.
Agree.
And not only that, stop throwing POCs in there just because you think it's gonna fit your quota. It's not working.
Diversity,
right.
Inclusion.
It's not working.
I agree with that. And I mean, and just because you put 2 POCs on there doesn't mean that it's the same, right? Like, if you're gonna put a black woman on there, she needs another black woman to be able to have her back, because we relate to each other in different ways, right? And so I definitely agree with Thomas by saying, yes, not just one black woman, put multiple black women. I'm not even talking about 2, put 3, 4. I don't know. Like, I feel like we have the ability to create more, or Bravo has the ability to create more space for our people on these franchises, and not just in the cities where you think it's predominantly black.
Right. And something that Thomas mentioned about having somebody that comes with you as support, I was actually having this conversation with someone before. I don't know if you guys remember the time in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion that just passed when Andy had asked Garcelle if she believed that it was true that Lisa Renna had complained that she did not want to make the show about race. And Garcelle kind of like stood there and thought about it, and she ended up saying, no, she didn't say it. If Garcelle had Cherie there, Garcelle would have said, yeah, she said it, because Cherie would have been next to her and she would have been like, yep, I believe it too. When you have camaraderie and when you have support, you're more open to want to say certain things. Why do all of the other women feel safe to say whatever it is that they can say around all of these black women? Because they're full of that, like they have people just like them in the cast. They feel safe to say those comments.
And black women are still fair. This is the
right.
thing with black women. Like when Kim was on the show, if somebody did something wrong, they saying they wrong. If Kim did something wrong, they saying they wrong. So there, or even Carrie down to the Married to Medicine. There is black women have the ability to rally around people and build camaraderie with other races. We just don't get the same in return. We're always the other. And I think that's what bothers them about Mary, because Mary's just like, I don't care who agree with me. I said what I said. And
right.
And also, too, a common thing that I see on social media is where they're saying, well, just stick to an all-white cast, stick to an all-black cast. That's not the world we live in, sweetie. And that's not the people who are tuning into these shows. I don't want to only watch Beverly Hills to see rich white women. I know there's rich people that live there.
That comment came actually because Mary in the Twitter space, she said, I actually wish the cast was all black or the cast was all white. But the thing with Mary is that she speaks without thinking, without thinking and without knowing how to articulate herself. I think that what she meant was it would be less problems if everybody was the same and everybody was getting along. And she kind of like feels that the work that the network puts into the show to try to make any of the minority women feel supported and appreciated is not enough to just be the only one in one cast. Like you need. Go ahead, Ricky.
I think so. I like when it's like, I don't want to see no black girls in Jersey unless they do something separate for Black Jersey. I don't want to. I just feel like if you're going to mix it right. So if you're going to do a mixed franchise, give me 2 white girls, give me 2 Latinx girls, give me 2 black girls, and whatever. Really mix it up. Don't give me all white girls and 2 POC.
Right.
But I also think Jersey works because they have a dynamic. They're family. They're close friends for years. So maybe the color situation is not what's sticking out most there as to why we're okay with how Jersey operates. My point is simply, don't think because they're all white, they're always going to get along, or we don't have to talk about racism. Some of these women have black family members. They have black friends outside of the show. And if you're sitting up next to your friend, like a Ramona, who's agreeing with negative, nasty things about black people, and say, I'm Luann's friend, I don't want to hear you come to my face and say, oh yeah, sorry about what's going on in your community. It's not making sense.
Right. Thomas, you wanted to get in there?
Yeah, I was going to get in on the ensemble cast thing that we're talking about, because I think we're getting away from, and Katie and kind of stole it from right out of my mind. We're getting away from the foundation of the show being about the women and their friendships. And so when you assemble, because you can tell that the RHO SOC cast members beyond Whitney and Heather finding out that they were cousins at the 13th hour, besides Lisa and Heather probably known each other vaguely from college or high school, wherever it was they tried to conceive that they were known from. They didn't have really any real connections to each other outside of the fact that most of them were Mormon, and they don't even talk about Mormon as much as that's what they sold the show to originally being. When we had of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, because we know that those girls, Nene and the Sheree and the Kim, they have friendships dating back 10 years, or at least they known each other in the Atlanta scene. Potomac is working because we have 4 OGs that have been there from season 1 that are still trekking strong on the show. You have your 2 centered matriarchs in the show knowing each other for years prior and being involved in a real way. You see how an ensemble cast is supposed to work. So even with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I think, it's funny how a lot of these shows are just discovering Black people. Because 10 seasons in now, we put Garcelle on the show, and then you add Crystal in for a little razzle dazzle. I mean, it's like Black people have money, and it's just like Asian people, Latino people, white people, and they are in Beverly Hills just as much as they are in Inglewood. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Beverly Hills is trying its best to integrate the cast. I feel like to that point that you brought up with Lisa Rinna, and especially with Lisa Rinna and Garcelle's friendship going back, you know what I'm saying, with photos from them being back in the modern days and the early days. For them to for that to not be an open conversation that they both can have, you can see the way that the show can have an effect on relationships that were formed before Housewives and that are formed during. And so we should start getting back to a Bravo, and the production company should start getting back to the show that feels good with the Hannah drama, because now all the girls just want to take each other's heads off. They always just want to go in and just, you know, Royal Rumble every single season, every single episode. Or we are ganging up on one cast member because she's the fan favorite, or we don't like her anymore. You got the Fox 5 at, you know, Beverly Hills, and you got it's so cliquish, and we love all of that drama, but it's starting to overtake what made Housewives special. That's all I really want to put in there.
Do you think
Well
that? Do you think that? Because I've heard that sentiment in the sense of Housewives, the dinner scenes and the fighting it was supposed to be about a group of friends getting, you know, having fun and doing crazy things. So do you think that we need less of the drama, or like what do you think is a happy medium?
Can I just get in here first really quick? I just want to say
Go
something.
ahead, go ahead.
Because I think this is a fundamental problem that Kenya Moore brought to Real Housewives. It turned it very dark in season 5 of Housewives, and people started to think that that dark drama is what sold the show, when it's
Speak on
lighthearted
it.
fun and drama that sells a show. Some of the best you know, seasons and moments from Housewives came from drama that permeated its way throughout the season, but didn't overtake the narrative of the season and everyone's storyline. It allowed everybody the chance to breathe and to step back, to play a part in it, to jump in and out, and to weave themselves and make it through unscathed. Some of the girls are coming out bloody, beaten, bruised, broken from a season, and it's just so traumatic. I think we need an even balance to answer your question. Not more or less, but let's get more of a balance to it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that's what I was gonna say, Thomas. Like I think it just needs to be a balance. Like, you know, like look at Beverly Hills, right? Like we know that they're gonna have a dinner party from hell, because that's just like something that they cultivated on their show. However, is every dinner party on Beverly Hills like that? No, they still have dinner parties where, you know, they talk and they laugh, and you know what I mean, or it may start off a little rocky, but then it ends up good. Like I feel like with Salt Lake City, is like every time they meet up to have these group scenes, it's like never fun. It's always okay. Who we gonna get? We got to turn up the heat. We got to start some drama here. Like Whitney didn't have to sit at that table and be like, "Oh well, what we're gonna talk about? Let's talk about these friendships." Can I eat my steak, girl? Can I get some food in me first before you start trying to bring the
Right.
drama? I mean, my gosh, we came
It's
here.
not
You know what I mean?
authentic.
For this. Exactly. We came here for this retreat to kind of release stuff, and you're still steadily trying to bring it up. Just let it come up naturally when it comes up. And I think that that's what the issue is when it's forced for it to come up at a dinner versus conversations just happening naturally. So I definitely agree. I hope they can get back to the balance of things, because again, we want to see y'all having fun. We still want to see the drama, but like it needs to be cohesive.
I think one of the biggest aspects too is society and social media, how that plays a factor in all of this as well. You know, a lot of the girls, they get into their heads about who they are on the show because of their fan base and how certain people use their opinions to change their favorites' mind or to pinpoint certain things, and then the discussions we also have outside of the show, and those women don't stay true to themselves. You know, they feel like,
Right.
oh, I got to go in and do this next season, or I got to mention this, and I got to focus more on that. And we see, like Thomas mentioned, the earlier days, you know, if we go back and see Nini's premiere day to who she even looks like today, it's completely different. And change is good to some capacity, but a lot of change, I feel like, sometimes throws things off completely. And I think, you know, the women need to stay true to who they truly are and stop using so much of what is on the internet to come back on the show and apply to. We see Wendy did that this past season in Potomac, and how and how a lot of us started not liking her because of it, you know. And I'm just over them not being true to themselves, and it's getting tiring.
Right. To close out this segment, so the only person that actually, uh, reacted to the comments that Jenny had made was Meredith. She tweeted the word vile. Then one of her fans said, "Come on, Meredith, you need to say more than that." She said, "I'm not allowed to right now, but yes, I have a lot more to say about many things, and I will." Then this is actually a developing headline. Lisa Barlow just actually commented on a post. She said things get addressed. And one of the comments said they're in the middle of filming. It'll be addressed in season 3. She says before then. So we should be hearing from, however whether they're going to bring Mary into an interview, whatever it is, child. We're going to hear how things kind of wrap up. But with that said, this has been episode 4 of Reality Right After. Thank you so much. Ooh.
It was a lot to say.
It was a lot to say, child. Thank you so much for being with me today, for being with my amazing co-host. It was an amazing episode. For more headlines like this, go over to therealityrundown.com, and to stay updated with everything, follow us on Instagram at The Reality Rundown and on Twitter at @RealityRundown_. Thank you so much. See you guys next week. Love you guys.
Good night.